let's go back. With DNA Day, you decided to go through 23andMe just because you're adopted, right? And so what was the genesis of you wanting to know more about where you came from, and if possible, that you had siblings out there?
I think one of the reasons I just wanted to find out about me. I was born in Germany, so I always considered myself to be German, but somebody would say, where are you from? I'd say Germany, and they would say, you don't look German. So that was one of the reasons, and I did want to find out if I grew up as an only child, so I wanted to find out if I had any brothers or sisters, or possibly find my biological mother and father. So that was the reason that I initially did the 23andMe search, and it's been a ride from there.
What were you expecting?
Well, I was not expecting a lot, and that's pretty much what I found in the beginning. Was I didn't find a lot. I found out that I really wasn't German. I was more Italian. I was 75% Italian and only 25% European or German. But I looked for it. One of the things that came up, it said, you have no DNA relatives. And so at that time, there was nobody there. And so I kind of found out about me, but I didn't find anybody.
So you do this. And by the way, why aren't we serving more Italian food at the cafe if you're Italian?
We're trying to change that.
Trying to change that. Yeah. All right, so you told me your story, and then we're going to show this. Mark was on Fox 17. This will kind of catch up with everything. This is a fantastic, warm-hearted story of somebody who thinks they've gone alone in the world, then finds out there are other people out there, that not just other people, but kinfolk. And here's a story that Dennis Ferrier did with Mark a few months ago. What's the reaction when you see it again?
Every time I watch it, I get a little emotional, but just because it just was such a gift.
Oh, I'm sure. And we've got, at the end of this, we got another huge surprise, so don't leave. So you go to Tucson, you step off the plane, what happens?
Well, what happened is I didn't see anybody. I'm like, okay, I'm here in Tucson, so, airports are different now. You can't go right to the gate and be standing with signs and banners. So I think I called Kevin. I'm like, I don't see anybody here. And he was actually on the phone with my brother, sister, and all that had come to the airport to greet me. So I had to go through the airport and down some stairs, and there they were.
And was it what you thought it would be? Was it?
It was. I didn't really know what to expect. All the way to Tucson, I was nervous, not knowing what to expect. I missed my plane in Dallas, and I remember going to the gate, and I was just telling the guy, I said, no, I've got to get to Tucson. I'm meeting a brother and sister I didn't even know that I had, and he's like, no, there's nothing we can do. You'll have to go tomorrow. And I'm like, no, I've got to go. I've got to get there tonight. And I started to walk away, and wouldn't you know it, he said, hey, come back here a second. I went back, and there was one seat available, and they were able to get me on that flight and get me to Tucson that night. So it was just it was a special thing. So I got to the airport, went down the elevator, and there they were, with signs, with open arms, and it's almost still surreal. But it was the most wonderful experience I could ever imagine or describe.
What you tell people who do this, who are hesitant of doing this? Your experience is fantastic. What would you tell them? Do it?
Yeah, I would say do it. Yeah, find out. I never thought it was possible. I always thought that everybody, my relatives, they had to be in Germany. That's where I came from. They're all in Germany. But, what I've learned now is they weren't all in Germany. Reach out. Don't ever be scared of the what ifs. Is what I would say.
Fantastic. All right, you're also a peer ambassador for the 54 to All of Us research program. What made you join the All of Us program?
I think, as Kelsey said, All of Us is about that precision medicine. They don't treat us all like we're from a cookie cutter, I guess. So wanting to know a little bit about my health history, about my medical history, because at that time I knew nothing when I joined All of Us. So I wanted to know a little bit more about my, I guess, medical things about me, because I never thought I would know anything more. So that was the reason.
What's it been like these last 4 months with your newfound brother and sister?
It's been great. I mean, we text every day. I ask other people, I'll say, do you have a brother or sister? And they'll say yes, no, maybe, whatever they say. And I'm like, what's your relationship like? I guess I've been more interested in other people and their relationships with their brother and sister, because to this date, I've not been able to get enough of mine. I mean, we text every day. I have such a hunger to, I guess, continue this. And they're just wonderful people. And so I've been really blessed.
Was it now with all this, you wish you'd done this sooner, or was it all in God's timing that it happened the way it did?
I think that's really the key. It was when He was ready, when God was ready for me to find this, because I think there's a part of me that's always been searching, but I had a beautiful, loving, adoptive mother who, she was my mother. She told me early on that I was adopted. So, I think in God's time, I think it was His hand in this that brought us, my family, me, all of us together. And I think He's still got a hand in this.
Amen. We can't understand what you've been through. So was it your whole life? Was it like, I couldn't imagine my whole life. Like, I'm wondering if that's going on.
Is there somebody out there? And even though I said I had a loving mother who loved me, I always had that, I wonder where my mother is. I wonder if my mother's out there. I'd have to go to Germany to find her, but I wonder if she's still there. But strangely enough, she wasn't there. She was here in the United States, as well as my biological father. But finding my biological father, I never even imagined it, because there was no name on the birth certificate. There was no way for me to find him. And it was only after his passing that my sister felt that like something was out there. Another God moment there.
Yeah.
I believe He had a hand in this, in driving her to complete this 23andMe, and who popped up? There I was.
But how long were you on there before you got nothing? 6 months? A year?
Oh, no, I was probably on there a good year or longer.
Nothing.
No, and it says, it kind of gives you this kind of depressing little message. You have no DNA relatives, Or I think it says you have no. It tells you how much DNA you have in common with these people too. So now I'm seeing people populate in that might have 1, 2, 3%. But when you get, a real hit, it's like 29, 30, 40%
Wow.
of the DNA that you share with these people. So, and I guess it gives you all the bells and whistles. So when my sister contacted me that day, it came through 23andMe, the little message, and it said, you have a close DNA relative. And she said, she sent me a message and said, I think we have the same bio, Dad. Would you like to talk? And I'm like, I went to Kevin. I'm like, okay, this is what's happened. What do you know? And how could I say no? I mean, I was curious. So I said, sure. And she called me from her work that day. I was here at work that day. And we both said, okay, we can't do this here. We're going to have to continue this later. And my brother wanted to be a part of the call as well. So they waited till that evening, till I got home. And we did that first call.
Wow.
On the phone. And it was surreal. I'll say that again, that word. But it was magical. It was a very special moment for me.
All right, so the story doesn't end there. We're going to fast forward here in the script just a second. So this was your original mother and father. So this was all on your father's side. So now somebody's reached out on your mother's side.
Yes. I've now been able to locate through the same search, relatives on my mother's side. I was actually able to locate my biological mother, who also had passed away, and I have siblings on that side as well.
So we're going to get to we got a special moment here on the screen in a second, but this morning, this is such a beautiful story. Mark met his brother on his mother's side. James, you mind standing up back here? It's Mark's brother. He just met today. Today, you just saw him for the first time today.
I just saw him for the first time today. I've just met him. I've just talked to him today, and oh yeah. And I have a sister that's still in Germany, and I've been able to contact with her, and we've talked. I've talked to her. Her name is Sonia. I've been able to talk to her and her husband there, and so it's just. And this is James. This is my brother James.
And his wife Bridget too as well. Welcome to Nashville.
Yeah, welcome to Nashville.
I mean, it's what a beautiful.
Okay, this is the way it happened today, you guys. So, I've got to make everything a moment. So, they're coming in, and I go into our beautiful handbell choir. And what are they playing? What were y'all playing? Like it's. What an appropriate song. So I said, okay, wouldn't it be cool if they walked in as they're playing, and they did, and walked into the room, the handbell choir's playing this song, and my brother and his wife walk in. So it was an awesome moment. I'm just so happy that they were able to come today to be here with me, and adventures to come. So...
Did he reach out to you, or how did this happen?
Let's see. I think I reached out to them, and we've been in touch since. So the connection on my mother's side was just a little bit more difficult for me to, I guess, maneuver a little bit.
Sure.
So it took some texting other people who then kind of put us in touch. And so, but it's, look, here he is.
That's great.
So, I can't believe it still, it's like, it's when you see yourself in other people, or you look at somebody and you say, oh, you look like, but to see people, and I've never seen that before. I've never seen a brother or a sister who favor me or look like me. So to see this now, I'm like, wow, it's so cool.
Far cry from the time I saw you at the cemetery. Our mothers are buried very close to each other in the cemetery. And about 6-7 years ago, I saw Mark out there, and it was a sad day because you were talking about how you were all, I mean, you got Kevin, but you're all alone. But there's no more around. And now look at this.
Look at this. And I mean, we've been very blessed. Look in front of me. We've been so blessed with friends like this, and that come out to support us. But both of our sons now, they have found their biological mothers. John, our oldest, is in Panama City with his mother, who he located. And I mean, now it's getting so much easier. I mean, they just went on the computer and were able to just locate that way. And then our youngest, Bobby, he's located his mother, who was here still locally in Nashville. So it's a different, the computer age and all of this has made it so accessible to us.
Yeah.
But back in the 60s and 70s, 80s, it wasn't as easy. So
do we have a lady here
we do, Miss Norma Tillman. I believe back in the early search days, I reached out to her in trying to help me, because the only thing I knew to do was try to find somebody to help me do like an international adoption search. Little did I know all my relatives were, well, most of them, besides the sister who was still in Germany, but both my mother and father, my biological mother and father, were here within the United States.
So Norma, you were able to, early legislation to pass bill to open up adoption records. Is that correct?
Yes, the records are now open for anybody that's searching. All you have to do is write to the post-adoption office up at the state and request your records to be open. There is something called, there's something that you can do to make it non-disclosure if you don't want to be contacted. It's veto, a non-disclosure.
Okay.
So it protects anyone who doesn't want to be contacted, but otherwise the records can be opened, and if there's anyone searching for someone, it's one of the ways you can do it. But the DNA, like he did it on 23andMe, you also might want to go on Ancestry.com,
Right.
family trees. There's several different ones, and each database is different, so you're going to match up with different people. If you,
Right.
So you need to register in each database.
Fantastic. Thank you for doing that. That was really good. Lisa, we good?
We got one.
All right, which is it?
Danny.
All right, we are zoomed in. Mark's brother, Danny. Is he in New York?
He is
Yep, he's in New York.
This is Mark's brother, Danny, via Zoom. Good job, Lisa.
Don't they love the life?
Another questions. He likes questions.
Danny, what was it like? You met Mark, you see him, and now you get to text and call a brother every day. I mean, it's just, to me, I think what we're all trying to see here is what it was like. What's it been like for you these last couple of months, knowing that Mark is in the world?
I got to tell you, it's been great, phenomenal. He's a great addition to the family. We've got a very, very close family, and he fit right in. We met pretty soon after we actually first spoke on the phone, so we all met by my sister's house in Arizona and hit it off. And as you notice, we have the same barber too, so it's
Danny, what's the one thing you wanted Mark to know about you? I mean, he's gone through his whole life wondering if you're out there, you're there. What's the main thing you wanted your new brother to know about you and your family?
I want to be able to show Mark a lot of things about our father. Our father was a very loved man in the community, did a lot of things for the community, and he's got a lot of stuff to see when he comes to Long Island because his father was a very well-known guy in town.
When your sister contacted you that you guys might have a brother, what was that like?
We spoke first. It was like, you know, of course I didn't believe it. I'm like, guys, you know, what's going on here? But my sister said, oh, it's real. That's what. So we made sure we contacted him right away because both of us are very curious, and that was it. We speak a lot, and then we met.
Did you have any idea or hope that Mark was out there?
Well, it's a funny story. So after our father passed away, my sister got a whatever you want to call it. She got a feeling that she needed to do the 23andMe, and she did. I didn't know she did it, and then I get to a year later or whatever after she had done it, she calls me and sends me a picture of him, and she said, "Does this guy look familiar?" And you see him from the top of his face up. He's our father. Looks just like him. From here up, you can't see me, can you? I'm making them up.
Yeah, we can see you.
Yeah, we see him.
Okay. So from here up, that's our father.
So Mark walks off the plane in Tucson. Before he comes down the runway or down the terminal, whatever, what was going through your mind?
I didn't hear that.
When you see Mark, when he comes down the terminal or at the airport, what was going through your mind as soon as you saw him?
I didn't know if I should run or go up and get the face off. It was, actually, you know what? Hold on. Look, watching him walk down there was, due to the fact that we lost our father not that long ago, it kind of, I saw my father basically walking down the walkway.
Oh, wow,
So
yeah.
kind of, like I said, very surreal.
Mark, anything you want to say to your brother?
I love ya. He's.
He said he loves you. He loves you too, brother.
I'm glad we found each other.
Me too.
Part of the family, and I can't wait for you to come to New York so I can show you some stuff.
I'm on the way.
Danny, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
So a year ago, nothing. Now you got your brother, your sister-in-law, another brother, and
Wow. Wow. I mean, yeah. How things change. How things change. I mean.
No signal. 1. Please check the power of the external devices and cable connection status. 2. Press the input wheel to change to another input. No signal.
Who's
1.
that lady?
is that your sister?
I think so. She's a little ballsy.
No button show high.
I literally sat on the remote. I give myself a 4, bravo.
Yay. Lisa's worked really hard putting this audio and the videos and things together. And you know, honestly, you know, I said we were blessed, and we are, to work with people like this. You know, she was as excited as I was, really. And so we, you know, when we talked about it, I'm like, Lisa, I found somebody, and I wavered back and forth. Should I go? Should I go see him? Should I not? Should Kevin go? Should Kevin not go? And you know, she was right there. Matter of fact, she made the plane reservations for me. Absolutely, really. And so, because I got on the computer, I'm like, I don't know how to do all of this. They want me to pick a seat. They want me to do this, do that, and you know, it's but she's been right there with us, and so thank you for helping me put all this together too.
Before we leave, what's the plan like with your brother and sister-in-law?
I mean, I'm just so glad. You know, I was this morning. I think I was like an expectant father pacing back and forth. Really, seriously, because it was somebody that I hadn't met before. I didn't know what it would be like, but to describe seeing him, you know, walking in, and now just see and being able to kind of look back there and see him, it's special. And I really appreciate each one of you being here to share this. And I'm just really anxious to spend some time with him and his wife now, and see what God's plan is for us. And I think that's what I plan on doing.
Dinner tonight where?
I don't know, man. We'll let them decide. I don't think they've ever. You said you'd never been to Nashville, so they've never been to Nashville, and but I'm just thrilled that, you know, it's. I think Kevin or somebody said, well, they came to see you, and that's really that's a special feeling. So I really appreciate you guys coming, and you know. And I really appreciate you guys coming too. Thank you. This morning I was like, you think anybody's really going to show up? And, I love you. I mean, I really do. You're like my family as well. And I don't know where he ran off to, but well, there he is. I'm sure Kevin would say the same thing. So we love you guys. Thank you.
Before we go, I want to get, if everybody in the audience can just like wave, I'm going to get this picture for you guys waving at Mark up here, but I want to get you guys this picture. So if you could just wave.
And we will take it.
Beautiful. Well, it's, you know, what's the old saying? You know, a man is loved by his friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'd have 2 people show up, and you've got a whole village.
No.
Fantastic.
Joe, I appreciate you being here too. You were instrumental in some of this as well. You hooked us up with Dennis Ferrier, who came out and did the story. So, you know, kind of put a little icing on the cake for us. So,
Well, good people deserve
you're
good things.
You're a good friend, and we kind of love you too.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you all for being here. Kelsey?